Samer, nice to meet you, mate.
Nice to
Thanks
meet you
for being
too.
with us. It's obviously been a fairly challenging year with COVID-19, of course, but how has Scientechnic Lighting Solutions weathered COVID-19, and what have you been up to in the last sort of 12 months?
Well, initially, of course, we had some fear, like everyone else, but we really put that fear into good use. So we decided to continue with our expansion and investment plans that we had forward for the team. And we adapted to the situation, and luckily, as we took over the full floor here in Dubai Design District, this allowed us to have an early back to office scenario while adhering to all the authorities' restrictions for COVID-19. And I can happily say that today we are fully functional here in the office, while still adhering to the strict measures that maybe you saw as you came in.
Yeah. It's been said in the regional lighting industry that has actually done okay during COVID, that there were projects ongoing, there were, to some extent, that even the industry sort of prospered. Is that a sentiment that you would tend to agree with?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as prospered. However, I would say that the lighting community as a whole came together. I would say it definitely survived this whole COVID situation. I think as the dynamics of the business changed more towards online and connectivity, this allowed everybody to be connected. This allowed everybody to adapt quickly. So we started seeing product presentations online, which was not something that was very common before. And I think this allowed everybody to stick together and move forward. And due to the connectivity and the online tools, this allowed also for a wider audience for our regional lighting community.
You had recently done the retrofit project in Batuta car park. I think that was a relatively new sort of project that you finished, right? Have you noticed there's been quite a lot of retrofit projects happening in the market as a result of COVID or due to COVID, or is that sort of always happening anyway?
Well, here I think in the residential sector, we definitely saw a spike, as one of the main impacts of COVID-19 early on was lockdowns, and which resulted in work from home scenario. So you saw a rush for people to try to improve their home working setups. So as people upgraded furniture, as people tried to purchase desks, chairs, of course they tried to upgrade lighting. So that definitely positively impacted us as we started seeing a lot of consumers thinking more about the architectural lighting from the angle of comfort and visibility rather than just a light that looks good. Hospitality sector, I say it was a little bit different. Hospitality sector was severely hit with COVID due to all the restrictions in place and the closures and the halting in air travel. But the hospitality sector also were able to breathe with the early ease on restrictions that we saw in December. So tourists were coming to Dubai and occupancy was rising in these hotels. And then I think they realized that it's time to also upgrade and move forward after the COVID-19 pandemic. And everybody, I believe, is now preparing for the big ticket, which is the Expo 2020, where all the hospitality sector are banking on this event. And
of course, you have a few projects in the Expo 2020, don't you?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We were lucky to take part in Expo in different phases of the project, and we were able to deliver almost everything. Today we are in commissioning stages and working hand in hand with the people there involved to ensure that everything is delivered and completed to the satisfaction of all parties involved.
What other projects? What are the pavilions that you're working on in the Expo?
Well, we took part in UAE pavilion, a smaller part in the mobility pavilion, and our biggest and major package came in the public realm areas, in all the outdoor areas and the outdoor and landscape, connecting the main pavilions of Expo, the mobility, sustainability, and the opportunity pavilions.
It's going to be very exciting when that does actually, when it comes around, Expo 2020. Just going back to COVID, of course, we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess we could say. Everyone else coming back to the offices. In Dubai, we've been operating quite normally for some time now, I guess all things considered. But from your perspective, on behalf of the lighting community, what other positives that we can actually draw from very challenging period that we've had to go through.
Well, I think one of the positives would be also, as we mentioned earlier, the community coming together. That was a big positive to this, and maybe also some advancement in technology that we're starting to see come on board. I think one example I can give you actually was a few weeks back I was in a supermarket, a famous supermarket in Dubai, and I saw actually the sun lamp being used, which is basically the full spectrum lamp, which are lights that mimic natural light, which actually enhances the look of fruits and vegetables, which is basically the same lights that are being used in the horticulture to help growth.
Very cool.
So this is really something that is positive that we saw. Also, I think now we're seeing a lot of major lighting players in the region starting to release products with the UV, the ultraviolet emitting LEDs, mainly due to their disinfection capabilities. I think still a lot of testing is required in that department. However, we are seeing it move forward. And recently, tech giant Samsung announced that they will be releasing 20 to 30% of their household appliances with UV emitting LEDs.
Okay, interesting.
So this, I would say, is definitely positive.
That is pretty cool. I guess that sort of ties into human-centric lighting, smart lighting, Li-Fi. Are these things that are kind of going to start to accelerate in the market as well, do you think?
For Li-Fi, I think it's still more and more testing is required. We're not seeing it really accelerate forward. However, I would say for human-centric lighting, for IoT, definitely a big yes. Today, connectivity is a core. We went from smartphones to smart homes, smart hubs, smart cities, and sky's the limit. So IoT, the Internet of Things, is the way forward. It will continue to impact architectural lighting design, where things will be built around connectivity. And as you see advancements in 5G and AI go forward, I think you will see more of smart solutions incorporating lighting, as well as the safety aspect with the post-COVID era, as these technological advances can help also with ensuring social distancing and disinfection measures and so forth.
You have quite a large role in Light Middle East this year. What will you be doing in the build-up to Light Middle East and during Light Middle East 2021?
Well, I definitely agree with you. We have an increased activity as of recently. Scientechnic has been around for the last 4 decades. However, we've been installing a new team in the lighting solutions department for the last 3 years, and there's a new DNA now on board. And we would like to showcase to our audience our capabilities and how do we fare in comparison to a complete lighting solution provider, which is our aim going forward. And I believe we will continue to partake in marketing and several events, and we are glad always to collaborate with you guys in Light Middle East going forward.
Talking about the industry itself regionally, you've been in the market here for more than 40 years. Obviously, you've got a lot of projects in public lighting, hospitality, retail, F&B, across the whole gamut, I suppose. Where do you see future growth opportunities moving forward in the next sort of 5 years, in a post-COVID world as well, when it comes to these various verticals?
Well, I would say now our team is gearing more towards the retail and more so the F&B sector. These would be the two that, and specifically the F&B. Your
HQ is here in Dubai. You have an office in Saudi and Iraq as well. Let's talk about these two markets and potential future regional expansion. Do you have any plans in the next 5 years to kind of open up offices in different markets? And when it comes to Saudi and Iraq, how are these two markets faring at the moment?
Absolutely, yes. The plans are going forward. Definitely, we were disrupted because of COVID, as air travel was extremely challenging. However, the wheels are back in motion, so we are expanding. I don't want to talk too much today about specific territories because I respect countries recovering from COVID and having their own timeline in the recovery. However, yes, we will be active in several countries, and I look forward to share this information in the very near future.
Saudi must be pretty interesting at the moment, though, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we were very excited to hear as they lifted the ban on air travel to Saudi as of recently. So this is definitely big news going forward.
When it comes to trade shows, obviously Light Middle East being the number one lighting design technology exhibition in this Middle East region. It's been a couple of years now since we had the last edition, when the next one will come along in September. Why do you think the lighting community, lighting design community, should be excited about the industry and also about being at Light Middle East again in September this year?
The best way to put it is Light Middle East, I believe, is the most anticipated lighting event in our region. Really simply, it's the most lighting-focused event out of any of the other events that happen, and it's the one that gathers everybody in the lighting community together in one area. This year, I think it will be even extra special because none of us in the lighting industry were able to attend the Messe Frankfurt Light and Build that everyone is eager to attend every 2 years. Also add to this, I think everybody has had enough of product presentations via Zoom and Teams and all the online platforms. I think we are all eager to see products, to touch products. I think everybody's eager for a face-to-face interaction with people we have not spoken to or we have not seen face-to-face in a long time. So I believe definitely the hype will be big for this one. We are extremely happy that we are on board as one of the sponsors for the event and as the headline sponsor for the awards night, and we look forward to it.
And of course, the expo actually starts the next day, after the last day of Light Middle East, you got the expo, so really a lot to look forward to, isn't there?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Samer, it's been a pleasure having you with us, and we certainly look forward to seeing you at Light Middle East 2021.
Likewise, thank you very much.
Just bump it.